Hi, everyone. We are going to do a really special Queer Church today where I'm going to invite Danielle Carruthers, my co organizer with the Witch and Healer Collective. And we are going to talk about a ritual that we have coming up this Sunday. Let me see if I can get them in here. I think, Danielle, if you can send me a request to join, I think I can say yes to that request. Unless maybe I can do it. There we go. Hello.
Oh,
How are you doing? Morning.
yes, I'm so well. I'm so happy to be on with you and to be chatting about rituals and Imbolc and continuing to be in this liminal space and how we as witches and magical beings are grounding ourselves.
Amazing. And will you just give a quick intro for folks that don't know?
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Danielle Carruthers. I use she, they pronouns, and I am one half of the founders of the Witch and Healer Collective. I also have been doing community work for just about 20 years in lots of different capacities. I am a hoodoo, I'm a witch, I am a therapist, a professional space holder. My work is grounded in uh, supporting folks as they walk through the liminal spaces, the transitions, coming home to themselves. And Bex and I have been working together. I think we're going on our fourth year. um,
Time moving.
right? Oh my goodness. And yeah, a part of our work is an extension of the work that I've been doing. Continuing to support our communities through spiritualism, through faith, through, again, coming back to ourselves in this really beautiful way.
Absolutely. If you're curious about the Witch and Healer Collective or either of us, you can dig more into that on our website, witchandhealercollective.com. And more on, you can see Witch and Healer on our Instagram as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk Imbolc. Let's talk cord cutting. We also want to just name one of the reasons that we're doing this is also just to highlight that we have an event coming up on Sunday. Folks that are in the Bay can come and join us on February 1st, which will be Imbolc. We'll be at ground floor in Temescal, Oakland from 4 to 6 doing a cord cutting ritual and celebration.
Yes, we are so excited. A part of our work for 2026 is being in community in ritual. Embolic is a Celtic tradition, and it's the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It's usually observed around the 1st or the 2nd of February, and we're really excited to be able to create that space. Kind of a history and the roots of Imbolc. You know, when you think about this time, winter has not ended, but spring has not yet begun. And that's what Imbolc really represents. It's the first light or the first melting as we head closer to spring and summer. Imbolc is closely connected to the goddess, Celtic goddess, Bridget. And this is pre-Christian Ireland. So really important to name that this is, indigenous to folks of that land, of the Celtic lands. Bridget's domains include fire, healing, poetry, midwifery, and sacred wells. And so really thinking about Bridget being the in-between, really very much giving the high priestess energy, so holding space for inspiration and discipline, being able to understand the deconstruction, but also the creation, and really thinking about death or release and renewal. Imbolc is a really, really powerful time to honor intentional endings while creating space for what is becoming. Yeah, so we're really excited to think about this time through cord cutting because this is also our last moment to shed. And yeah, I'm so excited. I could just keep talking about it, but I'm gonna.
I'll just hop in there and just add and continue that. Yes, this is when we were thinking about programming and what to offer for communities with the Witch and Healer Collective. We wanted to do something around Imbolc, and we also wanted to add more rituals. So thinking about what Bridget represents, what this moment is in between. It's the first when the ground starts to be just a little less frozen, so there's a little more space. And it's our last moments to shed. We are still in the year of the wood snake. So even though we are in 2026, even though we are in the tarot card year of the wheel that is turning already, which I'm sure you are feeling, seeing if you're paying attention to what's happening in the world, in particular our country, the things are turning and moving, and yet even though we've left the hermit year, we are still very much in the wood snake. So our belly to the ground, our focus on intuition. And again, wood snake is such a small snake. It is not cobra energy. It is not python energy snake here. It really is garden snake, green snake. I am here for me. I am here to make peace. I am here to connect to the land. I am here to feel the vibrations of what's underneath and to shed. And right now, February 1st will be starting the very first and last month of the year of the snake because we turn into our next year for Fire Horse on February 17th. So it's also a great time we're in. If you think of it, those 17 days, the last 17 days of Earth Snake and of shedding. So cord cutting really works into this, and we'll talk a little more about that later.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we've been thinking about is, our connection to this holiday. And for me, I have thought about the witch's wheel as a grounding foundation for my spiritualism for close to 20 years now. And following the witch's wheel as a baby witch, when I was a wee little one, it was really about accessibility. What I was able to connect to, what felt good, what resonated. The witch's wheel was in all of the books that I had. It was, the elders that I had connections to. It wasn't necessarily directly connected to my lineage because I didn't have that that it wasn't accessible to me. I'm so blessed that the internet and being able to connect in these ways now. But yeah, when I was little, it was really the things that I could connect to, and Symbolic and other pagan Celtic traditions were what were in the books. I've been celebrating Symbolic, consistently for about 20 years. I always do a little ritual, sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller. Again, it's like these really beautiful ways that I honor baby Danielle, honor the ways that I came to understand my witchery, and the ways that I understand parts of my lineage who took on different things based on where they were, right? I talk a lot about my ancestors using what is accessible to them, using what was there. And so I think about kind of continuing that and utilizing what feels good in my body and what feels exciting and what really connects.
Thank you for sharing. I also wanted to offer, so I'm, as folks may know, I'm Chinese and Polish. I'm from the East Coast in Massachusetts, stone's throw from both the Puritans, where they landed, and Salem, where the witch trials in our country were highlighted. And so I think for me, the connections around this are both natural and through Catholicism. Catholicism ritual, it was built on top of paganism. And so a lot of the things, when I think about getting to Catholic roots, which is a big part of House of Art Queer, finding, well, what is the reason we're doing this and where are its roots? Many of those roots are in fact paganism. And so those connections, as I've unearthed that in my adulthood and my return to ritual in a spiritual way, I've found those as a big part of a connection and rooting in things like Imbolc, rooting in things like the equinoxes has made a lot of sense in that pathway. And then I'll just also say the other way is that I am from New England. I am from Massachusetts in a time growing up in the 90s when there were seasons, when there was actual, when every day of my life was looking
Mm.
spring, summer, fall, and winter in these ways that it energetically aligned. And then I taught elementary school for 10 years in my first like career, teaching the seasons, teaching these things that were, this is the season, and now we've changed this, and now we've changed this. And so there's just something about that routine with the wheel that has always been a part of how I keep track of time, how I've kept track of time. And even now, being 8 years in the Bay and many years into a time in which the weather doesn't necessarily correlate with the spiritual seasons. I think that's also one of the reasons why I've dug deeper and kind of doubled down on what the seasons mean, what the equinoxes mean, caring about this midpoint, because I think we need to remember, like I know personally, I need to remember that this matters, that time is passing in this way, and that it has for a really long time so that it's not lost.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Do you want to talk a little bit about why, like, I kind of want to like deepen our like why ritual versus our salons, which we host monthly, and why did we come up with this? Why did we talk about
Yeah,
this?
great. I'm happy to talk about that. When we were, one of the things, as Danielle said, we've been working together for years now. We've been offering things through the Witch and Healer Collective. And so we had a retreat at the end of last year to really look at our offerings and how we're bringing people together and the work that we're doing. And we had an opportunity, as many of y'all know, to do an 8-week course on ancestral lineage and healing, lineage healing, and connection, and seeing the way that we could work with folks through ritual and through kind of deepening that practice really changed the energy, I think, for both of us as facilitators and for the community that we were working with. And so while we can't always offer 8-week study courses, TBD on that, we do, want to add more times that are not just collection, discussion, and reflection. And so it stands. We will still have just about monthly astrology and tarot salons this year combined. You might notice that, so that we can really talk about astrology and tarot together. That's a really fun social space where we come and look at what the transits are and can reflect, can discuss, can build connections, can feel less alone, and can feel less things are weighing on us. And at the same time, we really saw and have felt the impact, and have heard from y'all, folks that have ritualed with us, how impactful doing ritual is, and doing ritual in community, the power of bringing all of our intentional energy together, of activating all of our ancestors, guides, and cosmic connections in a space, in a set time, with a set intention. We've really seen how powerful that is, and so we intend to incorporate that into this year. And this Imbolc cord cutting is our first of the year, and our last in the year of the wood snake. So that's one of the reasons we're so excited about this offering on Sunday, and we want to make sure that everyone who is with us and is interested in doing ritual and adding a little bit more intention and impact and energy shift to the reflections, to the work you're doing in yourself and in your life path and in your community, knows about it and can join us.
Yeah, we're so, so, so excited. And cord cutting is something that I feel is such a powerful ritual. It is something that I have been doing for many years. And, I think about the beginning of kind of thinking about releasing something or getting rid of something. And in the, maturation of my spiritualism and my witchery, understanding that it is really centered around myself. That cord cutting is the basis of cord cutting should always come back to what is the space that I am creating for myself? What is leaving hopefully with some gratitude so I can make space for what is new. And so, when we think about Imbolc and this cord cutting ritual, what we're really thinking about this is like ancestral logic, right? We're really thinking about it. We are not cutting or severing in anger, but really freeing the energy, preparing what is to be born. This ritual isn't about banishment or force, right? We're not trying to kind of have a hard line of, nope, we're done, slamming the door. It's a little bit more fluid than that, right? And it is consciously intentional, right? It is a release that we are saying, this has worked for me for some time and it doesn't anymore. I can express gratitude for that. I can hold space for why it worked and it doesn't anymore. And so, really allowing yourself to loosen that energetic tie, and then be able to sit with, now what do I fill it with? What wasn't coming to me because that was there? Especially as we think about, if we kind of come back to the elements of coming from winter when things can feel cold, things can feel and move from this place of scarcity, of survival, where we are today in the world, right? We're really creating these longer term spaces for us to grow. Um, Honoring the past versions of ourselves, forgiving ourselves for things that maybe didn't work out, but also knowing like we made the decision based on what we knew. And now that we know more, we're going to shift that. We're going to change that. I think about Imbolc really teaching us that release can be gentle. It can allow us to grow. It can remind us that endings can be really warm. Again, that I really love this idea of sacred endings, and that cutting is an act of devotion.
Thank you so much. So beautiful. Yeah, I think of something to name because I also wanted to have some time to talk about this because cord cutting can be like a hot term. There's a lot of folks doing ritual like on TikTok, and there's a lot of everyone's witches waking up and everyone's doing magic in their own way. And I just also want to name that in our practice and folks that come in ritual and community with us, we're really focusing on how are we releasing, how are we letting things that are going returning to wherever they need to be. But the focus isn't, as Danielle said, like, my ex shall never contact me again. Like the focus is what is for me, what am I releasing, where is, the focus is on ourselves, not so much on the thing we're trying to, there's no pushing, there's no, I'm boundary, I'm creating a wall. The cutting is wow, this thing is tight, this thing is heavy, the thing is no longer needed, and I'm finding where that exists and allowing the space and the release and the clarity to be fair.
Ooh, so good, so good. I do, really believe that when we center ourselves in our spirituality, that's when we get the most movement. When we're not focusing on the external, but we're bringing it home to ourselves. We
Yeah.
wanted to add some layers of just like, what are the cosmos doing and how is that playing into this moment, this continued liminal space, the in between of the Gregorian New Year, Lunar New Year, at the start of the Zodiac New Year. And today, just about 2 hours ago, actually, excuse me, an hour ago, Neptune moved into Aries. And Neptune spends about 14 years in a sign. So this is, again, right? The sacred ending. Yes, big is big. And we're moving into something new that is going to be with us for some time. And so I'm thinking about this of like, Neptune is moving from Pisces into Aries. And so I'm thinking about this in the sense of from dreaming to doing, right? The shift from Pisces, kind of the misty, ocean consciousness into Aries, which is spark, right? And this is connected to our spiritualism. So this is spiritual ideas, this is action towards those, this is courage, a lot of embodiment, right? This isn't Pisces, which is like visioning, this is doing. I'm thinking it as sacred anger and holy fire, right? Again, we're
Mhm.
in this really momentous time. And this is collective themes, right? Neptune is a generational planet. It is big, it is not individual. And so this is righteous rage, this is liberation, this is reclamation of vitality, really moving away from disillusionment and moving towards purpose. And lastly, I will just name, this is identity reset, right? When we think about Neptune as it hits our own natal chart, this is releasing old myths that don't serve us anymore, right? This is the dissolving of thinking about ego-driven beliefs, dissolving of. It's really an invitation to align with our soul truths, to align with what is our purpose in this life and how are we moving towards that outside of the noise. Um, Again, Neptune rules dreams and spirit and intuition, and Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It is the beginning of the zodiac. It again, the spark, the fire that moves us forward. And so this really initiates the body in a really bold way, to get us to our next thing. So I'm so excited for this 14-year cycle.
Which begins today. So that's one of the reasons. Yeah, like Daniel mentioned, that we're coming at you today. And the other reason, so as we look at the week kind of astrologically, we're also moving towards, yes, Imbolc on Sunday and also a full moon in Leo on Sunday, 2:08 p.m. So just a few hours before our 4 p.m. ritual, for folks that are kind of putting that into brains, but of course we'll be filling the pool a few days before and a few days after Sunday, so you might start to feel it towards the end of this week. Leo, of course, represented by the sun, Leo, the proud lion, Leo, the flare. So it's also really perfect lunation for a ritual that is about reigniting, re-illuminating, re-examining the self. What is it that I really need? What did I need before? What do I need and who I am that I want to be seen to myself, that wants to be seen to others, that is being hidden, that is being drained, that is deeply tied or connected to a person, pattern, placement, outdated belief. Those are the things that Leo, this full moon in Leo, might highlight. That's going to really make this ritual even more powerful. It is full, so the energy is high, so the light is on, so the illumination is strong, so there is no hiding, so there is much harder to pretend that it is not activated. Um, and in Leo, even though it's fire, unlike Aries, unlike Sag, it is very steady. It is the sun. So it is great lunation for I can work with this. I have time. The light is on, but I'm not feeling like I immediately need to XYZ move. That type of fire is really powerful for this time. We're coming up to that. And I think just something to offer, whether you're ritualing with us or you're ritualing at home or you're thinking about this. And of course, folks that know me know I'll be sharing more about the full moon in Leo as it goes on, as it gets closer. But something to keep in mind is, especially because we're still in the shed, thinking about how you are, not just like your looks and the shallowness, if some people are feeling ways about that, but really is the way you are presenting yourself, including your hair, your clothes, any accessories, what you're wearing, is it representing you? Are you wearing things that are putting you in a mood, putting you in an energetic space that is outdated? Is there a way that you've wanted to look? Are you feeling jealous of other people for the look that they have, when what it really is that you're ready for it yourself. And this is a great lunation to be honest with yourself about any of those updates, tweaks, to shed any limiting beliefs of what you can or be, who you can be, and ways that that can be transmitted through your appearance, through even your actions, how you're communicating, and to give an update, to shed those limits, and to really step into however and whoever you want to be in this coming
Yeah. And the last thing, one of the last things that I will say is this full moon is the last full moon before eclipse season. And I'm just pinning that as, I believe that eclipse season isn't a time to ritual. And so being able to like create this space for what is to come during eclipse season, I think is really special. To do that in community, to do that, with folks who have been doing ritual in this way for a long time. Um, it's all prep, right? We're preparing ourselves, our bodies, our spirit, for what's to come. And I think it's such a beautiful opportunity that we're excited to share with you.
Yes, yes. I say eclipse season as snow globe time. It is the time that things are being shaken up, and our only real thing we can or are advised to do is ground, let the shifts happen. And so, as Danielle's saying, the way we can ritualize before to release things that are holding us, to step into any boldness that we are been waiting for the moment to arrive, to step into, that can set us up. We can't change what's going to happen, what's going to shift, what is going to go up, what is going to go down, but we can shift where we are before it happens, where we're standing in the snow globe. Are we in the center? Those are the things that these kind of rituals can help us to. Where am I orienting when it's over? What is, and that can help us respond to what the shifts and changes are that will certainly be happening during this eclipse season.
Yes. Ah, this was so cute. Love this. So just as a reminder, this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m., that's February 1st, we will be at ground floor doing some cord cutting, celebrating symbolic, allowing this renewal, right? The last shed, um, just continuing to build space for ourselves and our community.
Yes, we hope to see you there. But even if you've just joined us for this and have gotten to hear a little bit about Imbolc and a little bit more about the collective, we hope to be working with you at some point. And to close, we have a last offering. We love to, as y'all know, end Queer Church with a pull, a little message. And so we'll kind of get our energy with
Mm,
that. And I'll let Danielle lead us or invite you to lead us in that.
yeah. What is the message? What do we have? Hmm. Ah, the Four of Wands. So beautiful. Put this here. I love this so much. Bringing together. I love this for the end of this, right? To me, the Four of Wands is pulling the people, the things together to celebrate. And it's rooted in love. Wands is also a doing card. So it is like the spark, the compassion, the passion, the excitement. The Four of Wands is the wedding card in tarot. But the way that I think about it, mostly because I don't want to be in everyone's business, is who are the people that you are bringing together on any special day to really honor what you have built. When I think about kind of the foundations of marriage or weddings, right, it is a celebration of what has been built. And so the Four of Wands to me is this really beautiful community card of knowing the people who are around you that really shine a bright light, warm you with that fire, and honor what is growing, what has been built, and what's to come.
Thank you so much. And I'll just offer too, I think with the Four of Wands, it is, yeah, considered the marriage card. And to me, there is something, I'm always coming from like ritual structure lens, that like there is something about like you can be in a really long relationship without wanting to add that paperwork, without wanting to do that ritual, without wanting to have that step. And there is something about the Four of Wands in my interpretation that is like, I'm ready to commit to this. I'm ready to make it legal. I'm ready to sign the paper. I'm ready to do the thing. And so perhaps if you are someone who's like, yeah, I have been wanting to step into something, I have been wanting to shift my energy, I have been wanting to let go of this pattern, to make a change in this way, engaging in ritual is one way to make it more like defined. Step into that, make that commitment, and make that commitment known not just to you but to the energetic world, to the community, to the ancestors, the guides. So
Yes.
it's
Love, 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 love. Well, we hope to see you Sunday. If not, we hope to see you soon. We hope that this was helpful and we wish you all the best.
absolutely. Let's do one smile so we have one. Thank you so much. We'll hope to see you on Sunday. Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate
Thanks.
you.